I want to introduce you to some humble and hard-working creatures found throughout Australia, and I'm going to show you how you can introduce them into your garden. So this little guy here is the iconic blue-tongued lizard. Now he's a member of the skink family. We have 6 different species of blue-tongued lizards, and they're one of the largest of our skink species, with the land mullet being the largest. Now I love this little guy, and I want you to love them as much as I do. Nick Clemann is one of Australia's leading experts on reptiles, especially skinks. He spent his career researching threatened skink species. What do you think you found, Nick?
So I've just saw one shoot in here. I think it's probably a garden skink. I didn't get a good look at it. But this is, it's good that I didn't get a good look at it, because look at this. This has got that lovely deep leaf litter that lets the lizards get away. And it provides, like, obviously a good area to forage, so the skink can get in there and eat. It can find the bugs in and amongst this. But also, there's a real difference in microclimate from out here in the sun to it gets in here in the shade and in amongst this leaf litter, where it's actually really kind of quite cool.
What sort of role do skinks play in the landscape?
Well, in a healthy ecosystem, skinks are predators, but they're also prey.
Yeah.
So that they form an important food source for many species of other wildlife.
What makes a skink a skink?
As a family, skinks are they're a really diverse group. We've got more than 400 species in Australia, and they range from barely 2 or 3 centimetres long right up to sort of 60 centimetres long for the big land mullets. Most skinks have got a pretty typical body plan. They've got 4 limbs and 5 fingers, but they also have every variation you can think of on that theme. We've got skinks that are more or less legless. We've got skinks that might only have hind limbs and no forelimbs, and they swim through the sand. So there's a great diversity of those animals, and they're all just adapted for living different areas, different climates, different microhabitats.
So what have we got here? It's cool. So we know here we've got a blue tongue, but what do you have there, Nick?
So this little guy is a weasel skink, and the reason that I've brought these 2 along today is because they very neatly show some of the key differences between skinks. This guy, almost full grown, and as you can see, he's a lot smaller. That blue tongue's still only young. It's going to double in size.
Yeah.
But there are other fundamental differences here. This little lizard lays eggs.
Yeah.
The blue tongues don't. They give birth to live young. There's a difference in diet. These little ones eat mainly insects, almost exclusively insects, whereas the bigger skinks tend to eat a lot more plant material. They'll eat berries and they'll eat fruits and that kind of thing, and a lot more. They'll eat snails, of course, but they don't eat anywhere near as many inverts as these little skinks. The other really big difference that we can highlight between these 2 is that blue tongues love this sort of weather. They love the sunshine.
I know, he's getting frisky.
Yeah, as they warm up, they are. They get out, they bask in the sun, whereas this is a completely different kind of behaviour for these little weasel skinks. These guys don't bask in the sun. They spend most of their lives undercover, in amongst the leaf litter, beneath rotting logs and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So they've got a very different kind of use of the habitat.
Yeah, so that means that obviously if you have certain gardens, you can cater for all different types of skinks, if you do have them in your area.
The more variety in the garden, the more opportunities you're giving for these kind of species that have such different kind of habitat needs. So it's all about diversity. Deep leaf litter is always a good thing to have in the garden. Rocks, logs, twigs, that kind of thing. And certainly plants that have that kind of structural diversity at kind of knee level to ground level. That, if you've got good structure at that level, you're probably going to have a skink-friendly garden.
So how do we create an ideal skink habitat? I'm standing in front of a beautiful Australian garden, and it's the perfect habitat for skinks, and I'm going to show you why. We've got a range of different species here, from these grasses. Other elements are logs, rocks. With this rock, you can see that there's shrubs and grasses all around. Now, this is particularly important because if the skink is basking itself and a predator flies over, then the skink needs to be able to go into the bushes and feel safe and secure. Other things as well to be very mindful of is mulch and bark in the garden. It's really important to have, especially for the skinks. It provides a habitat for them to be able to hide, especially for the smaller species like your delicate skink or your grass skink. And what they also do is they find the medium where it's actually heated up and they can lay their eggs. Now this is great. We've just had rain over the weekend, so I've got some water here, and we all know water is a very essential part of having a habitat garden. So as you can see here, we cut nice little puddles, which provides a great water source for little skinks. So make sure to think about if you don't have a pond or a dry creek bed like this, we need to incorporate water bowls and dishes in the garden to be able to give them a bit of a water source. Having a native skink-friendly garden can be beautiful, as well as inviting for skinks, if you choose your plants wisely. And don't forget your grasses, as they can be a wonderful safe haven as well. If you want to create some more habitat for your skinks, I've got the perfect answer. These lizard boxes are fantastic and can be incorporated into your garden to create some extra spaces for your lizards to hide. You can do larger ones for your larger skink species like your blue-tongue lizards, or you can go smaller and have something like this for your grass skinks or even gecko species. There's different levels to it to provide protection for these little guys. On a top level, and then a bottom level, and they can utilise this to be able to come in and out of the box. Locate the box in an area of part shade, part sun. Ideally, locating the box next to some protection like a shrub. Dig the box into the ground, pop a rock on top, and scatter leaf litter around the opening.